I know what you're thinking about. I know what you're thinking about at work. I know what you're thinking about at school. I know what you're thinking about all the time.
Hello again, Grendalsh here, teaching, well, how do you set up the n52 for priest. This is Stoutheart. Stoutheart is my priest, which, is fitting since I'm doing priest and all. At any rate, he's holy dis. I enjoy the hell out of playing him. Sucks being solo because I won't go shadow, but that's my own choice. But that's not why you're here. You're here to see how do you set up a priest on the n52. Well, the first and obvious piece is, of course, the action bars. And this is pretty much the same setup as I've done for all my other classes. The basic blue mode with five combo action bars. So you got your basic action bar, which has primarily all heals, because that's pretty much all I'm doing. The shift bar with all my shadow and damage. Control with all the buffs. Alt with consumables, trinkets, things like that. And control shift with a bunch of OPI windows going on. OPI rings. Now, you might be saying, but how do you heal in raids and groups? I use grid. We'll get into that in a bit. Unfortunately, being solo, I can't really show you that, but maybe I'll be able to get that later on in another video whenever I can convince some guildies to stand still and let me use them as heal dummies. But normally I have my grid over here. This is my focus. Let's see, bring up my targets. Target, targets, target, focus, focuses target, and then my grid. And I do this for a specific reason. Using the N52 changes the way that you can assign heals and combat spells. MouseOver macros. All of these heals and some of my buffs are all actually MouseOver macros. So, for instance, renew. The text there is #show tooltip / cast brackets @ MouseOver, comma help, comma exists, comma no dead, close brackets, renew, semicolon, renew. Apparently at present there's no one friendly in Shatrath, so I'll have to do more of this later on to show how this works with a friendly target. But anyway, the macros, the MouseOver macros here, do in fact make it so that first target is if I've got a MouseOver. So if I've got somebody else targeted and I'm mousing over either a target, a name, a health plate, or a portrait, it'll target and cast on them. The second is that it will target my target, and the last is it'll target myself. So you get graceful defaulting of your heal spells. What this means is that when you've got like your grid out here, you can mouse over. I usually set my main tank or whatever my main heal target is as my focus. Hey. And simply mouse over it. Need to cast a spell on it. Boom. The macro will target my mouse over, and all I have to do is hit the spell. I don't have to change my target. The second is that with the grids, I can come down here, mouse over the target I want, and again hit the heal spell I want to throw on that character. And it'll work now without having all my heal spells bound through click on my mouse, which is only a 5-button. The N52, having many more buttons, becomes much more useful that way. The third is that if for some reason I'm getting a beating and rather than having to target myself or alt cast myself, I can simply deselect any target, make sure I don't have a target, make sure I'm not moused over someone, and hit shield or renew or whatever, and I get the heal spell. Now you might be saying, well, that's nice, but what if you're in the middle of a fight and you want to add a little extra DPS? Well, that's why I have this going on. And so here's my, usually the tank. Here's the tank's target. Select that, and now I can start wanding or adding a dot or whatever else to my tank's target without worrying about, drawing aggro. One of the extra fun things that I've sorted out is this one. Here we go. It's another macro. I used to use my attack button just for targeting. It was a fairly easy way. You hit attack and it targets the nearest target. As long as you don't have like auto attack or auto shoot as a hunter or something like that, works out pretty well. Problem is that if you're working with someone, like a tank, you tend to target someone not your target's, your tank's target, and you pick up, I'm going to wand, and you wand someone clear across the room, and the tank looks at you like you're an idiot. So here we have a macro, which show tooltip / assist at focus, comma exists, / cast sequence reset equals 1 auto attack, comma shoot. And what this does is first it sets your assist to your focused if you have one. So you target your focus's target when you hit it. So if you've got a tank and he's got a target and he's alive, well, your tank is alive. When you hit this, it'll target your tank's target. The second thing it'll do is it'll flip on auto attack, which, as a priest is like, "Ha, I wave my staff at you threateningly." But if you notice it's a cast sequence, the second one is shoot. If I double click it, I start wanding, which is kind of nice. And it's going to reset of 1 second. Reset equals 1. So if I hit it once, I just go into auto attack, I target it, and that's all that happens. If I double click it, then it goes into wanding. And so I can sit there and add a little extra DPS to tail end on a fight, or while I'm not madly spamming shields and renews. But the nice thing is that this means that this button right here now, if I have a focus, will attack them. If I don't have a focus, it hits auto attack, which means it targets my nearest target. So it now does 3 things in a nice little degrading defaulting pattern. All of the targetable heals and buffs are set up as macros. All these. Okay. We're like, where are your buffs? I don't see your buffs on here. You're right. Those, because they're not things that I throw all the time, are hidden on an OP ring. OPI. This one specifically. So let's call that a control equals B06, B10 combo on the n52. That brings up this ring. So we've got Fortitude, Divine Spirit, Inner Fire, Prayer of Spirit, which is going away in Cataclysm, boo-hoo, Prayer of Fortitude, Protection, and Fear Ward. So all my buffs right here on one ring. And you think, but you get at them a lot. Well, kinda, yeah. Boom. All 3 buffs. Don't need to take up space here on the action bar because I'm not going to be calling them up for another half an hour. So I've got one OPI that calls up all my buffs.